Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to Just the Facts on Dino Fury Episode 14, Old Foes. Happy Halloween!
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon.
Right, you. What he said was, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos.
At Area 62, a cloaked figure tries to steal the Sporix, caught just in time by Void Knight. They are revealed to be a resurrected Lord Zedd from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers under the compliance collar control of a monster named Regal who can revive monsters, doing the same with Brine Blast and Wolfgang. Void Knight makes a deal with the group to give them one Sporix if they can capture all 5 of the Rangers. At Buzz Blast, Zato learns about Halloween as they set up for a dance there. Ollie's not scared of anything because he's a Vulcan, literally, logic. So the other Rangers challenge him to walk through a haunted trail in the woods that they'll set up. However, when he starts down the trail, Brine Blast appears ahead of them, and then the others appear behind them, capturing the Rangers with sleepy cuffs. The monsters start looking for Ollie, who sees them and gets Dino Fury's first solo Ranger morph, believe it or not. He quickly destroys them, twice since they revive once. I guess it's true what they say about revived monsters being weaker. He called in Solon to help with another no-howl drop for Wolfgang, and after the monsters are destroyed, she shows him where the Rangers are being held by Lord Zedd. Ollie wants to fight, even asking for a Zord, but Solon instead teleports them both away, saying Zedd is far too powerful for a frontal assault. What they're going to need to do is watch a solid 5 to 7 minutes of clips from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Beast Morphers to learn about both Lord Zedd and the compliance collars. After doing so, Ollie gets a fantastic idea. Let's free Lord Zedd! Let's free Lord Zedd. I mean, I do get the thinking, but just, what?
I don't think that's a good idea.
So Ollie goes back and confronts Zedd using his Dino Dagger and boomeranging it behind Zedd to cut the collar off. Regal retreats because Zedd is just a little bit upset right now. The Sporix beasts attack, and the Rangers decide that their best bet is to throw in with them. They manage to drive Zedd back, mainly because he doesn't have his Z-Staff. The monsters grow, the Rangers call their Zords, put the Megazord in blade formation, and destroy them pretty quickly. Sorry if my description was a bit anticlimactic, but so was the sequence. At Area 62, they imprison Regal since it has a useful power, and they hope that Lord Zedd will never come back. And I'm sure he never will. At the base, the Rangers reveal their costumes. Ollie is an Asada astronaut, Amelia is a vampire, Izzy is a leprechaun, green, Javi is a zombie park warden to freak his sister out, and Zato is an Earth Knight in a real set of metal Earth armor. Oh yeah, Ollie does have one fear, ever losing his friends. Aww, let's balance the scales.
Episode 14, Old Foes. Pros, Zedd's return is handled well. Ollie's moral is actually pretty good. And a holiday special with meaning. Cons, this episode is nostalgia obsessed. Void Knight gets downplayed, and the vocal disconnects. I can't blame them for nothing much happening here, since it's clear this is a necessary episode for future plot. So Old Foes gets 3 skulls out of 5.
We all know that bringing back an MMPR villain, especially one with a famed voice actor like Lord Zedd, could have really gone disastrously. But I don't think they did too bad of a job here. Zedd being under control of the compliance collar explains why he doesn't just take over everything from the beginning, as well as not having his staff. Lang's performance is not Axelrod, but it was never going to be, and it's more than serviceable. It's obvious nostalgia bait, conveniently selling Lord Zedd helmets in the Lightning Collection that are replicas of Lord Zedd's head, which is not a helmet, but it works for now. On Power Rangers, it's kind of a coin flip if a holiday special is going to bother with a moral, and hey, they did work a good amount of clips into this episode, so it was kind of a holiday clip show. But it does also function as its own episode and has a pretty nice moral. I will say that basing a Halloween episode on a moral about fear is a touch trite, but the moral basically comes down to don't be afraid to admit to being afraid to lose your friends, and that actually really touched me. Recently, I've become really good friends with a great circle of people, so I felt that.
Oh, don't cry, are you?
And I will admit that this is something I kind of just said, but I do think it works a little bit differently. Holidays are usually just meaningless clip shows, so it's good to get one that actually advances the plot. It is possible to do both. Well, really, all three. Do a holiday special, make it a clip show so it uses less original footage, and advance the plot in a meaningful way. After Ninja Steel, longtime fans started expressing some frustration that the franchise seemed to be skewing away from any sort of connection to past seasons. We've had very recent seasons that didn't mention the morphing grid at all. Then we got Hasbro and Beast Morphers, with a story directly connected and related to the morphing grid, and then a second season that was half based on connections to the past. And here we are again. We bring back a villain from MMPR and watch a good few minutes of clips about that, and since that villain survives the episode, we know that Zedd's going to be a factor in the story going forward. Maybe that's why they wanted to reveal who Void Knight was last time, so that Lord Zedd wouldn't show up and we wouldn't start speculating that Zedd was Void Knight. And we're seeing with little background details like the split emitters that we might not be done with the nostalgia just yet. You know, it's like they really have taken to heart that, you know, we have to do exciting stuff for the kids, but also please the older fan. But their main idea of pleasing the older fan is doing nostalgia stuff, especially about Mighty Morphin. Because it's Hasbro, and they're basing what pleases the older fan on what sells. I'm actually putting that in. A downside to that kind of nostalgic focus is it really downplays who we have right now. Void Knight, a mysterious, evil, armor-clad warrior who also happens to have a woman floating in a tub of goo? Nah, just a wimp in a nightsuit compared to Lord freaking Zedd. Now, I'm not saying that Void Knight should be more powerful than Lord Zedd, but by the end of the episode, Void Knight is shaking in his armor, hoping that Lord Zedd doesn't ever come back. Have a little faith in yourself, VK. This last one is admittedly a bit minor, but they did it multiple times, so I do think it's worth at least mentioning. We did not need Jason, Alpha, and Zordon, even if that last one was pretty good, to speak in their clips. It just added nothing to the episode. It didn't add anything to the plot, and it just annoys fans who remember what they usually sounded like. This also kind of counts as a subcon on the nostalgic focus, because if they're going to keep harkening back to MMPR and using clips from those series, we're going to keep having this issue where they don't have the vocal and music tracks separated, and this is gonna keep happening. What I said before giving the score is really the biggest takeaway from this episode. This episode really isn't even about itself, telling its own story. It's about putting Lord Zedd into the greater plot of Dino Fury. But in that sense, it gives this Halloween special a lot more meaning than they usually get. Those don't usually have this kind of ongoing plot meaning. This episode is establishing a recurring villain for this season, possibly the main villain for next season, and even maybe the direction of the franchise going forward after Dino Fury. Nobody knows what the future may show, but forward we look and forward we go. We're already getting near to the end of Dino Fury's first season. And you know something? We still haven't met this team's 6th Ranger. Why am I suddenly bringing that up, though? Don't worry about it. Let's take a peek at the 15th episode of Dino Fury, Storm Surge. Ollie agrees... Oh, forget it. Ollie agrees to help Hobby with a story, but when his desire for new tech is exploited by the villains, he learns a lesson about priorities. That is going to do it for this Halloween Power Rangers Dino Fury episode review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching, and I hope you had a happy and safe Halloween, trick-or-treating, fall, celebrating, etc., etc. Now that the video's over, you can let me know what you thought of this episode, as well as my review of it, down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you'd like to lend any support to the channel that isn't Patreon or Ko-fi, check out my Teespring store and get yourself some sweet Orange Ranger merchandise. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. At the base, the Rangers reveal their costumes. Amelia is second. After Ninja Steel, fans started expressing... Longtime fans. After Ninja Steel, fans started... We bring back a villain from MMPR and get a good sequence of clips about that. We did not need Alpha, Zordon,